which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I was sick for a couple weeks. Strep is coming. It's enough for me.
All right, let's look over our agenda and see if we can get a motion to approve it.
I move we approve the agenda.
A second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. Any discussion? Not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. We approved the agenda. Now, if you take a minute to look at the previous minutes.
I move to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the minutes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Opening remarks by our administrator, Laura.
All right, so, we've discussed, I think mostly in my emails out to you guys, we have the new comprehensive land use plan we need to work on. I think we talked about it possibly at our last meeting too. I've included the actual printout of 18B1 and 18B2 from the Iowa Code, which is what we're supposed to review. 18B1 is what we're supposed to take into consideration when creating it. 18B2 is the actual criteria we're supposed to use during this. The printouts from Iowa State University Extension and Outreach are basically layman's term summary of the Iowa Code, so you can understand it a little better, easier to read, a little larger print, better formatting. We do have Region 6 resources that are going to be submitting a quote to us later this week or early next week. The supervisors will need to approve it, but that'll give us some extra help, I think, with the researching portion of this, hopefully the history portion, maybe the facilitating of a survey type of stuff. And actually, I think they've done a few. Heather's got more information, she can speak on it later, but they've actually had experience with this, so they can help us figure out where we're going, I think, I hope. And I did put wind on our agenda this week and on the public notice for next week, so we can still do partial both weeks, keep moving. But we can also work on the comprehensive plan as much as we can for the next 2 meetings. So that's what we have for paperwork, and then you have a copy of the reformatted version of the wind ordinance printed for you. There's also a copy available on our website under public notices. There's a link. It doesn't have all the extra notes about like what I've, what we've carol our notes back and forth. It doesn't have any of those. But if anybody asks for a copy, it is available on the public notice page of the Tama County website. Alright, that's all I got.
So should we take a little time looking at these Iowa State printouts?
Heather, did you wanna give us an overview
Yeah.
of the,
Yep.
what you know?
I can do that.
Help.
So I met with Butler County Economic Development, Jeff Cole is his name, he's super intelligent guy that just does a phenomenal job up there, so he was part of their comprehensive land use plan, as well as they use Intercog, we're Region 6 with Marty, they're through Intercog, which is just another county of governments, which is COG, C-O-G. So I met with Brian from Intercog as well. The biggest things, I was kind of learning all about Intercogs and comprehensive land use plans, but Jeff Cole with Butler said it's good to put together a task force team, so I don't know if you sent them the Butler County one, but they just approved their comprehensive or two different people, or people that you'd consider, good assets that want to help, so county engineer, major employers, housing developer, realtors, bankers, school superintendent or school board president, or member, I guess it could be too. And that could be various, cause I know we have multiple schools and they might have different thoughts. County RECs, so like we have Grundy REC or, like Alliant Energy, Mid-American, we have the different, and I do have quite a few contacts for a lot of these too. Cause we had an economic development meeting that included a lot of these players, maybe not the developer and realtors, but obviously we know quite a few of those probably collectively. Let's see, they had a railway person. I don't know if we would have a local is the problem, but that's another option of having a rail here. Let's see. A county assessor, like they used a retired one that had a lot of knowledge. And then planning and zoning is the ones that do it, but it's kind of up to you guys if you all want to do it, if you wanna appoint a couple of you, if you guys wanna trade off, like they had 2 planning and zoning members is what they did, so it's really up to you guys, obviously it's priority, but we have all these other ordinances to work on too. And then when I met with Intercog, it was kind of the same list, let me go see, they had, same as kind of supervisors, it can be all the supervisors, it could just be 1 or 2, that kind of helps out, so, I know Mark and I are doing economic development, but obviously it just doesn't really matter, I can try to help you guys and either come or watch the videos, if I can't make it in person. Auditor, GIS, which I think that's Maureen, I believe, for us, but it's the GIS person, is usually another person. EMA, which would be Ryan Goodenbauer. We already said engineer, we already said assessor. Sheriff would be like if there's certain items, like there's around, is it 12 or 14 elements? If it pertains to certain people, you don't have to invite, obviously, all of them to all the elements. If there's certain safety ones, you can invite the sheriff to those, or whoever he would like from his team. So that's kind of your list of people. I think Laura was gonna reach out to the department heads to see if anybody else, ultimately, we just want people to work on it. And then there's gonna be like surveys that you gotta send out, cause you wanna understand how does the county feel on these different things. So we need to figure out how we're gonna go about that, and hopefully Marty can help. This Intercog guy, Brian, can help Marty if he needs some help, so I can, give Laura his name as well. But it would probably be Marty that would more so reach out to him. Let's see what else.
Did he say if we come up with our own survey, if there's a general survey?
We have to probably
template?
ask, we can ask either of those, probably Marty or Intercog,
Cause
but,
Steve found, who's that, Buchanan County's?
Bremer County.
Bremer County's
Okay.
survey.
Survey, and it's,
Good.
yeah.
Yep.
Story
Really
County's
good
is also
questions.
available online.
yeah, okay, yep, we can just, look at all that, you can always send me some of that stuff too, I can try to keep
I
helping
don't know
you
if
guys
they
out.
use Survey Monkey as a platform.
Yeah, any of that, or,
Is that free
Google,
or-
you can do Google too, like Google Forms, like the school or different things does that, where you just, I think anybody can do some of those too. Another thing is, I think Intercog also said they had the Board of Adjustment and the zoning chairs were on the task force for a lot of the, so again, it could be Nancy Yuska or whoever the BOA chair is at the time, would probably wanna see if she wants to be included, or if not her, someone from the Board of Adjustment. Let's see. But yeah, Marty can help facilitate, and then we kind of go through collectively, for the next probably 6 months, and then after that, he would take 3 months and write it. So the nice part is you guys don't have to write it, and he can handle that.
You don't have to write it.
You don't have to write it, you would just he would facilitate those meetings, you guys would be part of it, and as well as this task force that you guys put together, and you guys can pick the task force, you pick, this is just what these 2 had done, pick who, you guys know who's the movers and shakers, who's gonna be the right players, or you can ask around to the other, board members. This will be a resolution, not an ordinance. So what I need to find out is from zoning though, if you guys have to have hearings and have to
They
do
both have to have
three
hearings.
hearings and do a resolution. But it's a policy is what it more so is.
I think last time I looked it up, we did have to have zoning have it as a public hearing,
Mhm.
because I was going back to check and it didn't look like it had happened last spring as one.
Okay,
Cause Marty was asking questions, so I
Okay.
think zoning needs to have
maybe the
one.
hearings first
And then, so it's the same process
Yep.
as an ordinance, but it'd be different, as far as
Resolution.
public hearings and public
Okay.
notice and stuff.
Yep.
And then there's extra steps for, putting it into place as far as notifying, nearby counties, all the cities, libraries,
Okay.
city clerks.
Yep.
As far as the history portions, is that something that Region 6 would help with too, or do we need to like
Yeah, they should
get a
help with-
librarian on
They
here?
should help with that, yes, yep, they should be, that's the good thing, is they have a lot of those reports to pull, the different, how many people have moved in, moved out, they should have those resources.
And
at
like
least
the
to
map
help us do that.
resources and such.
Yeah, they should be able to help with a lot of that, is my understanding, yep, and if Marty has questions, we'll just have that. Intercog has like 14 different members, and Region 6 has, I think, is it really just 2 plus a couple like bus route kind of people, like they're very small compared to this Intercog that has like Blackhawk County, Butler County, that 5 counties above us. So I'm hoping we can leverage them as well, but ultimately it was approved in 2010, it was put into the Iowa code. And we had this land use plan that you guys approved and we approved, but it obviously wasn't meeting these elements at all. And it does cost money, it's one of those unfunded mandates where, the time to do it, it takes like about a year to do. You need to do it right, you gotta do all these surveys, and there's a cost, we just had, Marshalltown Chamber of Commerce in today, and the city of Marshalltown is paying $170,000 to have a company do their comprehensive land use plan for them, so they're doing like a housing study, plus like some other study, and like you're actually just putting it together. So this is a lot less, I think more like $7,000 or $10,000 to have Region 6, so.
But don't we still need the same thing, like a housing study? I thought that was part
Well,
of
we'll
it.
just kinda see how I guess we'll just see what Marty says. I think Butler spent, I think it was 15,000 with Intercog, so it's
Who came
around,
up with this?
it's a legislation, they put it into the Iowa code that it's required. And it's supposed to be like a policy that governs the vision and decisions of your county for the next like 10
What was
years.
the purpose? I mean, why,
That's,
I mean, who
I
in
don't
the
know.
legislature dreamed up to
Right.
have
Feel
this?
important.
I mean, it seems like a good thing, but it'd be nice if they give us that money to actually go get it in
Well,
place.
that's
I
what
mean,
I
That's
mean,
the
we've got
resources to do it,
99
right,
counties.
yeah.
Yep, that's what's, and there's a lot of counties that haven't done it, like all 4 of the Region 6 haven't done this, and it's been 15 years ago, so, definitely, it needs to be done, and like Intercog explained, it's like a pyramid, you need that comprehensive land use plan first, get that done, that's the vision, the goals, like where are we gonna go from here, and then it comes down from there, so that's where like we have to sit on the solar ordinance until this is approved, because if we put it in place, it could easily be challenged because we don't have this document at the top that governs, how we wanna run, so it's like our shelter per se is what he alluded to, so yeah, that's where this is gonna be priority, but then continue the wind, and now we got data centers, and there's just so many things, but I appreciate the work you guys do, and that's where I'll try to help you as I can on this, and let's bring in some task force, cause I know you guys got a lot on your plate, and you guys do a really good job, but that's ultimately the main part of this. We got some time, I don't think Marty can write it till spring, so, but yet, there's a lot of elements, there's a lot of work to be done, so we'll just have to keep hammering through
But
it.
yeah, if we can get the survey out, that'll take some time to get that back.
Yep.
To get a certain percentage back. You guys might want to decide what type of, response rate we're looking for, if we want 50% response rate, if we want 70% response rate, 30% is acceptable. I think Story County is one that they sent out to schools, like only one school had more than 10% response rate, and so they had like 90% of the survey response. And so it's very skewed, so.
Right. Yep. And I know the city of Tama also has one already, they did it back in 2020, was it? Sometime in the last
I have.
4 years, and so they used a college student at Iowa, which I mean, that's
Which
an
I
option too,
That
but
sounds
I
like
don't,
a college student asked if they could do it.
Yeah, like if there was someone that somehow we could get, you know, who's in college that's needs this for their grad, you know.
Do a thesis, yeah, do a thesis on this.
Yeah, so we could always leverage someone like that or to help with surveys, but we just have to figure out who to contact. I don't know if there's, go to University of Iowa and find the economic development department and just ask, is there a student that wants to help with surveys? I mean, it's an option, that would be something
Do they
free.
have urban planning down there?
They might, I don't know, they must have
Apparently they did in
something.
1920, because that's what they did it for. It's a second-year graduate student in the School of Urban and Regional Planning.
And what year was was it approved?
Academic
Tama?
year is 1920. 2019,
2019, 2020. So that's kind of where we're at. We have at least a couple examples and one that you guys found too, and there's probably others out there too. That's kind of what we're looking at, so.
Is Marty with Region 6 or is he with
Region Six.
Intercog?
Marty Wymer.
Wymer.
Yeah.
If you guys have watched previous supervisor meetings, he's come in to talk about the housing, and transportation with the supervisors before. That's the same gentleman.
Transportation to what extent? Roads?
No,
or-
like, available public
buses?
transportation.
So I can send Laura, like, so we had an economic development meeting, which would be a lot of the same players. We had, you know, bankers, we had, superintendent, you know, John Kane, we had, you know, the different players, some entrepreneurs. I can send that list of emails to Laura, and that way you guys have the names and emails for those, whether or not they wanna be on this too, but they were the ones that were interested to come to that you and I decision-making meeting that we had, so we do have a list of some of those people, and then you can add in some realtors and, housing developers and people like that you guys know, that'd be good.
The thing would be, you wouldn't want more than two on probably the task force, or it would be an open meeting violation for planning and zoning. So, unless we did it during our regular zoning meetings, two of you could work outside of the meetings together.
Yeah, you just have to schedule it out in advance if they all wanna do it, or if only a couple wanna do it, you can schedule it however you want, so whatever
Or
your
if
guys.
it's easier for you guys, cause I work 9 to 4, except for 8 to 4, so. You guys can work on it during the day, I cannot.
I think we need all the help we can get.
When I was looking through those, like, it'd be 100 pages, and 80 pages would just be a description of what is there now. And boilerplate. A lot of this is the map, and this is what's here, and this is what the schools are, and this is what,
Right.
and to go through all that stuff, that's where I think we almost could just we could hire students, we hire somebody to just take one of those other ones that's done, that's 100 and some pages, say, copy this, except do Tama County.
Right.
So where it has the schools and the description, and it has this area and this description, in the public parks, and you know, it could go through, so you could follow what one of these other good ones is, and that's some of them, 80% of it we have. And then you get down to the description of what, what affected this or something, and that's where we.
Are there any courses in the high schools that, you know, like that, I don't know, you know more about the extra, well, whether they're independent or their community service points that they have to get, that would be kinda interested in something.
Closest you'd come would be your ag. The agriculture, or I don't know.
Or like FFA type.
What's the class even called?
What about building and timber sciences?
Okay, 1, 2, 3, and 4.
There
Yeah.
you go, there you go. Maybe, it just depends, you know, anymore, so many of these high schools don't have, like, some of the school districts don't have a lot of these things.
Right.
And what they do have has been modified because there's no money they're the first things to go.
Right.
And instead they bring in, so a lot of schools now said a lot of these things are going to, like MCC, you can take courses through MCC to get, so kids can graduate with their associates before they, as they graduate from high school.
Right.
So,
Another thing I could do is ask with you and I, with the IDM team that we worked with, I could see, cause they're in economic development, and they're one of those, you know, 15 to 20 trained in the state, maybe they would know who else we could reach out to help us with this too.
We could use one of the counties that has them who did they have do that?
Right.
Who did they?
Yeah, between the intercog and that
They-
kid
some of
so
them
far,
were
we
really-
did the Bremer one that
Really
said,
nice, I mean, the maps, and then they had it laid out, and it was very descriptive, and everything was covered. But that's a lot of hours, that's a
I
lot.
think Region
The
Six
Story
will
County
need
one
quite a
was
bit,
just
though, I hope, but
tremendous.
we just need to find out when we get the contract.
Did you see, he was gonna get back to us? but-
Yeah.
And that is something, but it's not opinion or, you know, it is,
Yeah.
this is just fact, this is what it is now.
Right.
Yeah.
So, it's not,
But there was 3 or 4 pages on just the history of Story County, you know, when it was started, the first settlers in Story
right,
County and everything
and
else.
to research all that, can you imagine, I mean, we got a nice museum over here, but still, to go through and try to
Well,
put
it
that
took
all
time.
together.
I did check, they don't have any handouts that would be useful to us, so we have to actually get like books and pull it out.
Who's they?
The Tama County Museum
Uh,
down the street.
Well,
Although if you go to the Dysart Museum, they've got timelines along the wall, and one of the timelines is Tama County history, so.
Sure, it's got some nice stuff in the museum. But I, you know, but it would, how it would lend itself to just getting this all stuff all written, but then just all the other physical attributes of the county, you know, where the land, how the, you know, condition of the land, like I said, the parks,
Right,
cultures, the, you know, description of the.
highways, waterways.
Is that the primary focus of this then, is economic development?
I mean, I wouldn't say the only focus, it's kind of like, I think one of the questions is, like, why do you live here, like, quality of life, you know, there's just like, there's several, is that, what you print out for them, does it list all those elements, like, there's transportation, and
Yep.
there's,
The
so if you look through all those different elements, but yeah, it's just how do we make it a better, how do we wrap our ordinances to where we can make this a better Tama County in a sense, so I'd say it's very close to economic development goals too, but there could be some other things.
So the one that goes all the way to letter M, that's the one that has the elements we have to include.
These two.
So it includes land use elements, opportunities, public participation, that'd be the survey and future meetings, so that's probably gonna be taken care of. Housing though, infrastructure, utilities, transportation, economic development, community facilities, intergovernmental collaboration, a lot of these don't have to do with protecting the land, but then there is the agricultural and natural resources element.
Is it possible we could go into the city councils of each of these towns and ask them for a synopsis of their town? I mean, so many of them have been centennial towns, all that history work's been done. Churches have got their background, I don't know. Would it be possible to throw it out there?
This is where I think if we have one of the good ones, and you could say, this is
Right.
what we have,
This-
this section here, we need to fill in with,
Yeah.
with what the Tama County information is of this. What, can, keeps coming back, to transportation element, do we have public transportation? In the county, is that a big deal?
You get right to the casino.
Huh?
You get right to the casino.
Yeah, they have the shuttle.
I mean, is that
Region
something?
Six does like people rides, but it's not much, it's just
And
kind of in the
mostly
Tama
the-
Toledo area, so there's a little bit, but I wouldn't say a lot.
As
But
a
if they go
county,
anywhere else, they charge a lot.
Steve and I are thinking the first place we should start is do a survey.
See who's interested, see
We
who's,
hand it over to them.
yeah.
Yeah, Bremer County's got a good,
I really like this one, and it really, find out who's interested, find out who returns them, find out if they've got comments, and then maybe write up a little cover page with this, or something on there that, hey, if you're interested and would like to participate in this in Tama County, come
So
on
do
down.
this before we even create a task force.
I think, cause we
Yeah.
gotta know what the needs are before we
You gotta-
ask who we need to help us.
one thing that we really want is, if we do that we really do get a cross-section of people, and not just people that have financial interest in getting something done.
Sure.
Cause you're gonna be, probably have a higher percentage of those people responding than just the average guy that's sitting on the couch watching TV, that he's got feelings about how he wants the county, but he's not making the effort to do
Not
it.
gonna make the effort,
And
probably.
to get the real cross-section,
Well, you guys can decide who you want on the task force, I mean, if,
Well, we can decide, but if they don't wanna do it.
no, but I mean, if they wanna do it and
that
you
looks like good.
don't
I like
Yeah.
want them
that's-
to,
That's what I thought. get to everybody.
I think
Survey
probably
monkey's
want more
great,
people to
I use that all the time, but it's not, I mean,
If you go out to the
not
schools,
everybody's gonna use that, I mean,
there's a lot of people that don't have kids or even grandkids at school anymore, and they're not associated with that. We've gotta get a good, when we do this, we need to do it, so we get,
Cross-section.
yeah, an actual representation of the county, not a specific part of the county.
just screwed in one way or the other,
Do
yeah.
we know how many addresses with properties are in the county? I mean,
Like in
whether
Parcels or-
urban or rural, how many households are in the county?
Where do you find that?
Bremer County,
Yeah, what's the voters,
it's on the,
like
I went to the,
16,000?
put in on Google, just
So we have 26,000, almost
Bremer County land use
26,000.
plan, comprehensive
That's
land use
Karen
plan,
on
and
there.
then
How many, yeah.
That's a
that was
population.
part of
Last
it.
year's
I think so, and I think when I was looking things up, it was like
But that would be. could be
17,000
multiple
people lived within the city limits, and there was about 5,000 living in the rural area, but people, not everybody living in the rural area was a landowner, because obviously census count, so people just rent, something like that.
So how do we get a good cross-section of the population to get a survey?
I was trying to think,
If you mail it out, it'll get filed in the, yeah, it'll go.
Start to
So
fire.
here's what
Yeah,
I
yeah,
did, and
yeah.
we talked about, if you did like a Google Docs or something where you had a link, and then have all departments, sheriff obviously has like 20,000 followers or whatever, but sheriff would share it, engineer, auditor, if all them share it, it seems like it gets a wide array of people, cause we do that frequently, like, hey,
what would it,
everybody share this on their,
We could
you
also
know, county Facebook page.
do a shopper ad
that's what I was just
Yeah, you
saying.
could do both.
and then direct them to, I'd say here, this.
There could be a hard copy here and then some kind of a digital copy, do both.
Or you know, have them direct here to the hard copy, or, you know, go to this website, we'll have it on the website, the Tama County website, maybe my zoning website. But direct them there and they can do it online, but then, you know, for the people that don't have easy internet access and prefer a hard
There's a
copy,
lot of
you
people
could
that
have a
don't
copy
go
here.
online and.
Right, right. So if you put it out in Tama County newspaper or shopper, you have to put it in where you can get paper copies of people that don't do things online.
Which, I mean, we could have a copy at,
Is there,
Just
Can
go
you
to your
put
office would be
posters
fine.
up, like in
I mean, you
grocery
could do it at
stores
others,
or
I
at
could
the,
drop a couple off at city.
I mean, some,
city clerks.
what we're running into is money.
Alright, you said auditor's office would be a good place to put
Yeah, I
some
mean,
of
any
those
of
surveys.
those, yeah, auditor or wherever you guys wanna, anybody, you're
And
probably.
Treasurer's
have one.
office,
The thing would be,
Yeah, you know,
if it's not
Or there's a
electronic,
lot
that
of
would prevent duplicates.
people coming and going.
how do you
We're not
get
gonna do
them?
it twice a week.
It couldn't be an anonymous survey.
yeah, you probably wouldn't want anonymous, you'd have to upload the hard
So,
copy ones
I don't know
probably.
anything about SurveyMonkey, but Google, so a Google form it will create a spreadsheet. So, and it should do it in, I think you can pick whatever alphabetical by, like if you did name or whatever. And if you could probably check, then you could possibly check, like you could do it if you were worried about duplicates, you can always check that way.
Cause Survey Monkey will do charts for you.
I don't know anything
Yeah,
about
yeah,
SurveyMonkey.
yeah, that's what we use.
But yeah, you just wanna make sure if they're doing hard copy that they aren't duplicating an IP
So I
address.
mean, if you upload it into the spreadsheet.
Well, and plus if you do it on your home computer, when you do it on your phone, on a separate IP.
But yeah, you could have a check the box, yes or no, if you're interested in, you know, helping out to put this together or something, and then you guys can still, out of that list, pick one or two from each section, cause you want everybody's opinion, but sometimes if you have all these people, I mean, they can come to a public meeting, but that's up to you guys.
Well,
how
if you
you
have
wanna
a
structure
check
it.
yes or no, if you're interested, you have to have their name on it, you couldn't have their not.
For sure, yeah, I wouldn't do anonymous.
Where does everybody go? I mean, one thing, like if you, like in the treasurer's office, when you come to get your driver's license, here's who it is.
Yeah.
Cause that's a place about everybody gets to, not every year, but
Yeah.
that I think with the grocery stores or this, and you're getting, in this group, you're getting a certain type of people, there's a certain, and or you're gonna just have people go online and do it, you're only gonna get people that are that way.
We could see if the grocery stores flyer copies in certain, major places of business, like, grocery stores or banks.
I think we should have someone on the supervisors write a nice little letter that, hey, this is gonna be, it's about the future of the county. Basically, if you're
It's
interested
something
in the
that
future
does
of the
get to
county,
everybody.
and this is something you need to participate in, for your kids and your grandkids.
And then
Yeah, I know
have that,
Mark uses Facebook's, supervisor page, so he could
Yeah,
write something
There you
up.
go, do a
and-
Facebook.
but have that
Did you
coincide
get
with
this
when we're writing
thing
to
come up?
release it.
Before county tax just went out,
Right.
a flyer could
Karen's
have
got a
gone in with the
comment.
tax.
I do have a comment. I think you also should approach both mayors, and Mike Davis has been writing, weekly articles for all three. The city councils, Tama Toledo, and us, the supervisor meetings. And then somebody probably is doing it for North Tama. Get that coverage, even if it's only 2 sentences in every single one of those news highlights, because people are reading that stuff, because it's concise, it's easy to read, condensed. People are reading those, either online or in the hard copy, but they're seeing it there, and he's been doing a good job with what he's got to work with.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, cause it needs to be just short and.
Well, he'll just put it right in, he'll put 2 sentences in with everything else he's got, but they'll see it, and that'll put it into all the papers free.
Who's that?
Mike Davis, our reporter that comes every Monday morning.
Alright.
Well, and really, you can put anything in the paper, like there's a column that you guys could even probably put in, or one of you individually, or as, I wonder if they could even do it as a zoning commission, that's free too. To
Like
put a
letter to
letter
the
to the editor, or, yeah.
I just know that people read his column, Heather, cause he's been doing it for such a long
Yeah.
time already. They're used to it, it's comfortable.
I mean, I'm okay with the paid one too, but I'm just saying that's another option.
And what about churches?
That would still only be people who get
Ministers.
paper.
We
Put
used
it in
to,
a week.
when I used to go to church, there was always, somebody talking, here's the community things coming up, and get out word of mouth.
We would have it when they go to church though, so they kind of start out with, anybody got any announcements or anything, well, somebody's having a pancake breakfast over here after church, things like that before you get, actually start the
What
service.
about the church's newsletters that go out? That's already, it'd just be a little, everybody reads those because they wanna see.
How much effort is, so they know the thing is there, but then they actually get it to do it, you gotta pull that computer out and go through stuff and everything like that, or it's more,
Church bowl.
it almost needs to be laid in front of you, that's why I think if you just have a stack of them, and get the treasurer's office, and say, please fill this out, and
Personally, if I see a paper one, I'll throw it away, I won't do it on
Google
the computer, I'll
Forms
do
is
it.
so easy and quick from your
Yeah.
phone, just to
Yeah.
if it's only like a
But I
few
guess,
questions, just punch it in. But you need both, cause some people.
Yeah.
Well, we got there's still a lot of people that do not have internet access now, especially out in the country, or don't wanna do it on their phone. I hate doing things on the phone.
that's what I like about that, and I looked at that, and it's pretty easy, you just put compared to what some of them are, the way they laid it out.
Well, and this could be,
It's easy.
it's only on it's one-sided, so you could do two-sided, and way less paper.
Right.
There is also,
You get surveys, anytime I buy something online or anything, and then you get an email that, it's a survey, survey, it's just something you survey and it's, I'm like, yeah. Gotta get it across that this is our home, this is where we
Get
live.
it across why we're doing this, I
Right,
guess
this
that's.
is,
Could you put it in like you're talking letters to the editor, but in the TR, under their, there's lots of Tama County people, look at that, that wouldn't cost anything. Say, this is what's coming up, if we were gonna mail things out, give people a heads up, this is what's coming, if you're interested, or, I don't know, there's gotta be some way.
but one other thing about it, like if we had them in the churches, we're doing something like that, and you've got a paper one, how do you get it back, are you gonna
Right.
fill out an envelope,
You gotta take it somewhere.
Yeah, and that's, I don't see it getting them back.
No.
But, well, why don't we talk about kind of how they do it? What kind of,
River County,
Bremer County,
This is your.
I'll find out how they,
yeah, how successful was it, what did they do to?
Did they have,
they had all the results in there,
Yeah, and how did they get it out, and how many, what percentage of the county did they get? Was it a good cross section?
Story County also did a youth survey, is that something you guys would be interested, or keep it all to just citizen landowners? Cause I mean, we can get stuff out to landowners and, you know, other adults that get the newspaper or whatever, but I mean, I don't know if you can go high schools, have the high schoolers do a survey, it wouldn't be the same survey, obviously, if they don't.
Would be good
Yeah,
for
work
the
with them.
seniors, maybe in their social class or econ class. I don't know if they even have it anymore, but it'd be something, cause the seniors are gonna be the first one
Right.
out. And they're gonna be the ones going to college and they don't come back.
When I was a
Like, what would get you
senior in high school, I knew everything there was to know. I
Right.
would definitely not have answered
They're gonna
questions the
say
same way I would
jobs.
today.
Right. It'd be interesting
Somebody
to
that,
see their
it's got,
slant.
it's got their foot in the furrow is what we
Right.
need, and not, I don't mean just agriculture, but I mean somebody that's worked and, you know, has a.
Better
is in-
perspective.
Right, that you've had experience.
Do we wanna put one of these together for Tama County then?
Why, absolutely,
I think
it's just,
Do you
I
guys,
can work on that for the next meeting.
our next meeting is Wednesday, will you have time to get it together before Wednesday?
can, is there anything on there you would change from what that one is,
Yeah, there's a couple things, I mean, just
that was specific to the county?
specific for Bremer County, yeah, they had a couple recreation areas they had questions about,
Okay.
a couple other things, but there's probably some things we need to add too, though. You know, I don't,
How about all of you guys bring your own type of survey question list and we can
Well,
combine and pick the best ones? for
I
next
think
week?
start, if I,
I'll
Yeah,
start
I'll
on
look
this,
that up.
I'll have.
Was that online
Yes,
in the
could
county,
you,
well,
or what was it under?
I had to go to the Bremer County land use plan or,
And then,
and then dig into it, yeah, and then I went down and I saw their survey and I thought, I wanna see what they're asking.
You put it up, Laura?
I'm trying to, I tried before and I got sidetracked.
I had to dig a while to get it, I don't know.
who else is close? Anyway, the story, of course, that's big, that's Ames.
Stories is available
Bremer's
on.
kinda like us, you know,
Yeah.
Waverly's,
Waverly's pretty good size.
probably,
You
you know,
got a college.
I looked at Chickasaw, is that New Hampton in the middle, and they're about the same population. I don't know what else would be another equivalent.
Polish.
I mean,
They got
well,
right
there's a
down
pretty ag place too, that doesn't have a lot of big areas.
Benton County?
What was that?
Benton has, Benton's got their own.
Okay.
I'm trying to think, is it, I don't know, when I used to work for workforce development, I was thinking that I always heard that Potawatomi County and Tama County were kind of comparable in, populations and economic,
Potawatomi?
No.
By Council Bluffs?
Yeah, I'm thinking of Powell.
yeah, no, I'm not kidding when I say that,
Powell, Powell.
Yeah.
That's Council Bluffs and
yeah,
all those.
Oh,
no, that's, Potawatomi is south.
Yeah, Ottawa, is right at Omaha and,
Council Bluffs.
Well, because when I worked for workforce, that was what was brought up all the time,
Huh.
yeah.
Bremer County
kinda like us, like a
Survey.
survey, so.
What year was the Bremer one?
Uh,
Just looking how old it was or new it was.
Bremer's plan was approved in 2016, already 9 years. I did find the link, I can email that out to you guys.
When was it approved?
2016,
That was Bremer or which one?
that's Bremer.
Or you can be with this, copy that for the next meeting then.
Yep. One sec.
Do we wanna add anything about, what do you think about solar, wind, anything else?
separate battery storage.
That data money, if you think about it,
This
it's the
would
thing
be
that, you can make money in it, but what do you actually do? You don't make food, you don't make, all you do is consume energy.
Well,
And
that's the
water.
biggest problem with the data centers, is that they are consuming more energy and water than they're paying for.
I saw a thing where there was some little county like this, they moved into down Texas, and they're making noise like crazy, it's like neighbor's grain dryer running all the time. No, they were just driving people crazy, but it was a local county with a real nice residential area, but they weren't incorporated, so they didn't have any noise ordinance, and they couldn't force any noise ordinance, so these noisy things are just running and driving them crazy.
Well, just how many people do they
Together, we
employ?
can't do this.
Well,
That
that's
many
how, that's where all your,
That'd be very.
every time you get on and there's AI, that's where it's going.
Right, I know.
And everybody uses it, so, and they have a lot of people.
Yeah, there's data centers, and then this one's a Bitcoin one, and that's totally different, there's nothing productive about
Some of them
that.
will be exactly the same.
Right,
I mean,
right,
some of these are great questions, so,
especially when they leave the other,
yeah.
I think that's important. To specify.
Cause somebody put in a lot of hours putting all that stuff together, that we have something to follow.
So for next meeting, Steve will work on that Bremer County survey, Taylor to Tama County.
I'm sending you guys links for the Bremer County survey, so you can look it over, see if there's anything that you guys would like to add, or that you think might need to be reworded specifically.
So a week from today, we can maybe have a survey, or we can work at the survey so we know what we wanna put out there.
Just a quick question, is any of this stuff copyrighted or anything? I wonder.
From the other counties?
Yeah, from the other counties, it's all public information, isn't it? Yeah, I just don't wanna get,
In trouble?
I don't think you should, I think you'd have more problems, like, if you took something that ISU or you and I or Iowa put out, they usually copyright everything, unless it's for public awareness or something. But then they
If there's
usually,
money
they'll,
involved, then there's.
well, then they usually will
copyright.
say something.
Yeah.
it's got Survey Monkey on the bottom of this is from them.
So Story County did something also where they had some open houses and they put their survey questions on big boards and you could put a sticker next to what you preferred. Poll preferences, input, stuff like that.
On the Tama one, there was, for the city of Tama, there was a survey, I don't know, we could probably try to find that actual survey, but it was 14 question survey, asking questions regarding housing, transportation, environmental sustainability, recreation and culture, and relationships with our governments. The survey was created using Qualtrics software and was distributed online via the planning team's Facebook page. A paper version of the survey was available at City Hall. Both versions also had a Spanish translation available, that's probably a good idea too. University of Iowa Office of Outreach and Engagement designed advertisements promoting the survey, shown in figure 1.13. Full survey, okay, so they must be in here, this one's like 200 and some pages. Full surveys are shown in appendix 1.3.4, full survey results are shown in appendices, blah, blah, blah. Survey results are discussed, were relevant throughout the plan, so they had all that. 131 people started the survey, no questions on the survey were required, but blank responses were tossed out. Of those 131, 104 answered at least one question from that group.
Tama?
86, this is Tama, 86 answered most of the questions, 61 from Tama answered most of the questions. The survey skewed female.
How many pages was that today, or how many?
It said 14 questions, it's probably in here somewhere, I'm just looking on my phone, maybe where I can put up on a computer, but key takeaways from the survey are that residents live in Tama largely because of community and family, although affordability and proximity to employment are still important pull factors. Family and community were emphasized more by women, and affordability and employment were stronger for men. So you might want to amend verse 1 Respondents across residencies and genders were in majority support for combining Tama and Toledo into one city. Overall, 56% respondents were in favor of this, with the next 35% in favor of increased collaboration. So yeah, I mean, Tama would be a good example because it's not that old and there's gonna be a lot of similarities. Obviously, the north of Tama County might be different than Tama, but
This
That
is
might
also
be a-
city versus the county.
yeah, yep, so just a good reference if you haven't read it. It's very long, but just, where can we incorporate in Tama's data, we'd at least already have their information for the city, but.
Did I send you guys all that Tama, city of Tama link? Or just you? I don't remember. I can send that.
So yeah, look, there's probably all those questions in there, 'cause it says they're in appendixes, I just, on my phone, it would take, it's 246 pages that Iowa student put together on there.
Yep. It was the city of Tama.
City of Tama, yep, and it was just here, not very long ago.
So we're gonna,
What is the purpose of this? What is the baseline
For doing it,
reasoning for 99 counties, and then you've got you're like at towns and cities, and everybody doing this, putting in the hours, putting in the expense? What is the end result supposed to be?
yeah, I mean, the goal it says
Is
is
it
to,
just government,
yeah, they're trying to just get us to
telling you to jump through hoops?
They want the information,
community
Well, why don't they
aspiration,
look at it?
increase quality of
because
life,
they don't want to, they want
short
you to,
term and long term.
it's economic development.
Well, and I think it's also, if we're putting in all this time, all these resources together for a vision for the next so many years, then you don't have every random board that switches up every couple of years, changing the direction of the county.
alright,
Okay, let's go back 50 years. If they'd have had this plan 50 years ago, do you really think Tama County would be a thriving metropolis at this point?
it's not gonna change a lot, is it?
No. So 50 years from now, with the population getting smaller and smaller and smaller, do you really think Tama County's gonna be able to we don't have a workforce. Do you think you're gonna be able to draw in businesses that are really gonna give high dollar jobs?
Yeah.
No.
I think Tama County's kind of uniquely located though, because they're right between Marshalltown, Cedar Rapids, and Waterloo.
Yeah, I think we
And I
need
think
the,
they've got some, that's some real advantage.
we need the right assets, we got a 4-lane now that comes through, we got a railway, that's, today, the supervisors, we did a letter of intent to partner with Marshalltown Chamber of Commerce, they have like a full team CEO, and they're doing a lot of really good work in Marshalltown and the county in general, and I think we just need, when we met with you and I, there's been steps, even back to the 60s, where they met with you and I, decision making, and here's what you need to do, and nobody did it. So I think the problem is we need to actually do it, we need to move forward, so we wanna partner with them where there's a whole team that can get us to the next level, like, we need to, instead of continue to go backwards, like, we can't just band-aid everything, like Homer was saying today, we gotta fix things and figure out how do we bring people.
But you can't keep raising taxes willy-nilly like they have been and expect new people
Yeah.
to come into the county, because it's gonna happen.
And that's where we need to get businesses, we need to get, quality of life increase, because the more people you can bring in, the more jobs, then you can raise that tax base raises, more houses, that's more revenue too.
How many responses then was there to that survey?
So this one,
Or did-
41, you said.
I think the ones that actually responded was like 80 something, I'd have to go back to where that was at, but they had like 131 started, but I think it was only,
There's
86 that actually.
3,000 people, I don't know how many adults that would be, would it?
I'm not
Or should
seeing
it be
the
adults?
survey in the comprehensive.
3,000 people in Tama. And
All zip
The other
code.
kids
Is there
living
any
here,
differences
right.
down there?
population.
Oh, there's a
if you had 1,000 adults and you had 80, is that big enough
What
cross
about
section that
This is
represents?
references.
And we got 16,000 people in Tama
Which
County,
appendix number is it?
how many,
I don't know where I came off of it, but I'm just.
what would be a good, what would we wanna have as a response?
The thing is, we can't force people to respond to it, we're gonna have to take what we get. So that's the next,
Okay, the other option is, do we get a crew together and go door to door?
no.
No, I'm not saying,
Right, that's what we gotta decide next year, is I think we should have some paper copies of the treasurer's office possibly? And say, can we turn them back here?
But I think
Or
the
send them
treasurer's
out.
office, I like that, cause you get a good cross-section of everybody, you know.
Paying taxes
Well, yeah,
and automobiles.
automobiles, that you'll get people,
How
Or
long
your-
do we wanna have the survey out there?
cause it,
Cause if you're going
Well,
to
we can-
treasurer's office, then you're only gonna get the people coming in to renew in
Once a
that
year.
month or
well,
two.
Well, that's
driver's
what I'm
license.
wondering about, you know, to,
We still gotta try,
Yeah,
you know.
driver's
One
license.
month out of 12 then.
Yeah.
There's a lot we can start on, like,
What about
these 80
property
pages
tax?
that
You
give
leave
the
it open
description.
for
of
It says
2
everything.
months or 3 months or
So
something.
Everybody's gonna do their taxes by April, right?
So page 210 on Tama's is where it starts. Let's see. Introductory question, I live where I do because proximity to job or affordability, small town feel or other. Housing.
That's their survey.
Yep.
Yeah.
Housing, please rank the options from highest to lowest with top priority. You guys,
That's not on the website.
one, I'm on the website, I think, or at least I Googled
I'm
it.
on page 210, how much have I got?
It could be up on
Website.
where it's
So
at.
you can go, you can do that pretty cheap.
It's on appendix
Somebody's got a
1.3.
website,
Well, you, I was gonna say, if you put it, if you have a
These are
website
some of
like
the
that, if you
detailed
don't need to do that,
results, but
you
look a
like
little
that
bit more.
Facebook and everything, you just send it out to,
and you gotta link to
okay,
it.
yeah, and you just click on the link, go to it.
Yeah, you gotta make this simple, they can.
1.3.4?
Well, the thing is, we don't have a cross-section, that we base it on what we
Oh,
get,
those are all
we're not
Spanish.
getting
Lot more.
what,
These are Spanish.
Right.
But you gotta get on the interested people then.
yeah.
That's where the questions
We
are.
do.
Okay, starting on page 200.
Can't
Oh,
force some people to
210
do it, you can't.
PDF.
Yeah.
That's right, it's
Leave it
200,
close to water, you can't let it
200
drip.
page. Okay.
So like Tama should have more of these housing options, single family housing, mobile homes, apartments, tiny homes, townhouses, we don't need more housing. For the city being a top priority for housing, B, affordability, amount of housing, quality of housing, reducing the size of new homes, ability for older populations to take in their homes. What relationship should Tama pursue
Yes,
having
Karen.
with Toledo?
Yeah.
Demographics, so yeah, that's their questions.
If you want people to come to this town, having lived here for my entire life, families have owned businesses here for all their lives, the school system had better start educating the kids. Because a school brings in kids, and the Christian school is over enrollment right now with people calling weekly to see if they can get their kids in there to learn how to read, write, and do arithmetic. That was brand new over last weekend,
I
that
think
report.
that is really, really wrong.
We've got to have kids learn to read, write, and do arithmetic
Right.
to graduate.
Have you been in the schools lately?
My children
Have
and
you
grandchildren.
been in the schools
No, I have
lately?
not personally, Carol.
Then please don't make a comment like that. I'm a teacher and I know exactly how teachers are teaching. We are doing the best we can with the resources that we have. It has nothing to do that we're not teaching reading and writing.
Okay,
The biggest problem is we don't have the funds to do things, and we got parents who don't want to participate in their children's education.
and I agree with
So
that.
please don't ever come back with something that says that schools have to start educating, because we are.
But
We
I
don't
didn't,
have
I didn't put down the
participation.
teachers, Carol. I put down curriculum,
It's, there's nothing wrong with the curriculum.
okay,
There is absolutely zero wrong with the curriculum.
okay.
What I've seen over the years being on the school board is the school has had to become more of a babysitter for the kids over the last 20 years.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And
Than they
parents
have
will
for
enforce it.
education, you know, it's full of.
We have the curriculum, we have the ability to do it, it has absolutely nothing to do with that.
It's parents that don't care enough, that's where.
until their kid gets in
Grease-
trouble, and
greasy
then
wheel
they go to a
gets-
lawyer, and then
squeaky
everybody
wheel
has to
gets
worry about
greased.
lawsuits. That's what,
Thank you for that, Carol.
that's what controls the schools now,
Anyway, so we're gonna work on the survey,
the lawsuit.
All
I've
have
got
a copy of it.
I have 3 surveys that I'll send out to you guys. The city of Tama one, you guys will have to do some scrolling. There's a discrepancy between the page number that's printed on the page and the page number of the PDF, but I have both included, so when you get there. I've got the Bremer County survey that Steve brought. I've got the Story County survey. The survey results are in the city of Tama and Story County, so that has the question and what they actually answered with, like, what came back. So it's not as ready to go as the Bremer County one where you can just, take take it, but it would have all the same questions, so there's 3 different options to look at there, we can still add our own, personalize it to Tama County, since we don't have any major cities, that might be something that would be good to make sure we are having specific for.
This Story County one really goes through, they did a countywide survey, talks about community vision and identity workshops they did after that, then public open houses following that. And I think all, they talked about how they, the survey was primarily online, distributed via SurveyMonkey. There were also copies available at all city halls and libraries throughout the county for those who preferred to complete a printed survey. So they kind of covered all the bases there, and then they followed up with meetings at four locations in Ames, Colo, Huxley, and Story City.
But yeah, we could get the link out, like Heather said, to all the major county, social medias. I know, like she said, Sheriff has a huge following. I know Karen's got a page for auditor. I guess does the assessor have one or no?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, you just let Karen know, and then she blasts it out to everybody to put it on their pages. Yeah, Karen.
Once we get a survey picked up, right?
Yep.
Once we get one finalized, we.
Can you send me those links too? I'll help you guys out, it's still their decision, but I can help out where I can. Cause we gotta think of things like how is
Recommendations are great.
Tama County different than all these, like what would we put in, that's something we all gotta brainstorm, like what would we ask when it's wide, countywide, not just city, not just.
Thinking of a survey that's multiple choice, or one that is multiple choice as well as fill in your
Other, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of
That's
these
good
have
to have
other.
another, yeah.
All of them,
other
other concerns at the bottom, so you can,
option.
put
That
whatever
each
whatever you
question.
want to.
So I'll go back through the video for all of your comments and such, but I have Heather's list of who Butler included for their task force. We also discussed including mayors or city council members, reaching out to city councils for city history. Let's see, survey outreach would be possibly the shopper, hard copies, letter to an editor, flyers, and major places like banks, grocery stores, churches. Have a version in Spanish to figure out if we want to do Google Docs versus SurveyMonkey. Does anybody know if those have charges at all? Google Docs would probably be a
Google Forms,
Google Forms.
I don't think it costs anything.
I've never created a survey before, so.
We always, at school, we always use the Google Forms when we're sending out to families and things like that, so there must not be a charge on that.
So we spent about an hour already talking about this, should we move on to looking at our WECS?
No, let's,
What do
touch
you
on
wanna-
this a little bit more.
What do you wanna touch on that, Laura?
So just, looking at these two, the 18B2, where it goes up to letter M, those are the elements that we need to include something of, whether we agree that the county needs it or not, we at least need to touch base on it, at least that's my understanding, we could be told something different. And while we're going through 18B2, we need to keep in mind all the 18B1 things like occupational diversity, revitalization, community character, stuff like that. So, correct me if I'm wrong, Heather, but I believe 1 is the keep it in mind, and 2 is the, you really need to have these elements at least touched on. So,
Yeah, I think you go through like the smart planning, I don't have it pulled up what that all means, but it's like all the different.
that's the B2.
Okay. Yeah, I think if they apply to your county, you put those elements in, or at least touch them like you said.
Oh, no, smart planning is 1, and guidelines is 2. Okay, so next week we'll come back with, you said survey, put the survey together.
I'll start on it.
You're gonna see it.
And we were gonna come up with other questions, is that what we had said?
Or questions that you, from those other surveys that you think we could put together, How long do you guys think you might wanna have the survey out there, like 1 month, 2 months?
It depends how, if we can get it to everybody.
Did anything you see say how long they have the survey?
the effort to find one that,
Look at it.
yeah, and get
Quality
it
of life and the vision, pretty much, yeah.
I know,
Yes.
Quality of life, you know,
Vision.
everybody
Well,
wants a
yes.
good quality of life,
in. It
and
absolutely did.
I know some schools still do independent study for certain kids, would we wanna reach out to the various schools? I mean, I know Union's in Blackhawk County, but a third of the kids are, you know, maybe a quarter of the kids are from Tama County. We could reach out to South Tama, North Tama,
That would be something that was.
Possibly
kids,
better
organizations that,
GMG and GR.
you talk to like John Kane, like talk to superintendent, or see if that's something that we could do with, if that at least hits the 2 schools, and then
and then for
wherever the other.
for the ones that aren't fully in Tama County, just make sure when we're reaching out that we say, you know, prefer if it was a Tama County student that was, you know, if they're interested in doing, they could maybe help us with some of the history research stuff and still get full credit for it. I don't know the extent of their independent studies, but it could be something we could reach out to them for.
Just get the kids to take a survey home to their parents.
yes, well, that,
Do nothing, I mean,
Right.
when neighbors, if they don't have, you know, you take one home to your parents, and if you got neighbors that don't have kids, make sure you get one to them, and then pick it up and bring it back.
And then if we do wanna do a youth study or a youth survey, for at least high schoolers, I don't know if I can go middle school, at least high
No.
schoolers, no?
Seniors.
Middle schoolers are just little kids with donuts,
Yeah.
it's bad.
But I don't know if
wanna
we wanna do high
do
schoolers or
that.
just totally skip the.
I think
schools.
seniors would be the place to
Seniors
go,
is.
I agree.
because they're the ones that are gonna be the first ones out. Are they gonna plan on coming back?
Right,
What would make you come back?
right.
What
There was
make you
some,
stay?
there's some senator, or I don't know who went to UNI and talked to the teacher education program up there about finding, just kind of picking brains, like, are you gonna stay and teach in Iowa? And the vast majority were leaving, they were not staying in Iowa to teach, so. And we, you know, they talk about we have a teacher shortage, we don't really have a teacher shortage, we just have people that don't wanna teach, I mean, they don't, you know, they've come in and they didn't like it, and they, you know,
But a lot of us thought we were all gonna leave when we were seniors in college.
True.
I did leave several times, I can.
Yeah, I did too.
I just went to one of my aunts, female, who was 30 years old, she was a teacher. And when she got out of high school at 17, it took a year at school, and then she taught at country school. And then she went back to out of state normal school, whatever, got 2 years. And then she got married, and her husband had made her stay home and take care of 300 chickens on the farm. She wanted to go back and teach, so then the next year, they asked her to teach part-time, and she couldn't do it. Next year, they asked her for a full-time job, and they let her off, so she went back and taught for 40 years.
How do I teach this? I have 300 chickens.
Good, you're talking, there's enough teachers, you can take care of the chickens.
Yeah.
So
He was incredible,
if,
like you.
if or when the supervisors approve the contract, that Region 6 will submit, I'm not sure that we can get Marty here next week that soon, because if they don't submit the contract before Monday, they can't approve it. So, we might not get Marty until if we have a meeting in December. If we don't have a meeting in December, then whenever we meet in January. But next week, I'd say, at least as far as this goes, let's try to nail down survey discussions next week. Is there anything else with comprehensive plan we can work on next week? Just more general discussion, look through it some more, bring any of your comments, questions, type of stuff.
Survey and how we're gonna get it out there, other than just
Okay.
paper.
Survey and details, okay.
Well, the other thing is if we're looking at either of these things and seeing, you know, the people that might match up with these,
Yeah.
you know, the departments or the,
Bring some specific names that you wanna reach out to and
Yeah.
not just, I mean, we'll still reach out to the general,
Yes.
anybody who wants to be involved.
but, you know, you can look through here and say, oh, well, this looks like some, you know, this department or whatever might.
Apply
But
to
yeah,
it.
some specific names might appreciate a personal invite. Would you want me to, I talked to Heather about the possibility, would you want me to reach out to all the departments of Tama County and just say, if you
Oh, yes.
or any of your members
Yes.
would be interested in this, we would appreciate your expertise and your opinions.
Just get them thinking about it.
Absolutely.
I can do that.
Alright.
Do you guys want me to go ahead and do that
Columbus.
Yeah.
this week? Send that email out this week just to get them thinking about it, and
Sure.
we'll let you know when the task force has more I'm just working on the agenda for next week,
That's
so.
right. Alright.
If you guys would like to move on, I don't have anything else that I needed to touch on for
You
that.
could let us know.
Well, yeah, I'm not gonna argue against it now. Yes, sir.
So should we look at our WECS, Tama County WECS, in ordinance, we, I have a note somewhere that said we stuck it, was it page 29 or? Oh, where did it get down last time?
Did you get a copy of the draft?
Yes. Well, 'cause I only-
Oh, I haven't been, the last time I was here. It changed. Where are we at? Sorry.
That's what I'm trying to find. Page 29, our next meeting is what I have,
Page 29.
because that was of the old ordinance, so we got it updated
Formatted again.
since then.
I don't think they would have changed too far.
We were looking at county review and then final plan submission, is where we were gonna start.
County review is on page 33, section 506.
Alright,
Final plan submission is number 507 on the same page.
What is the blue highlight compared to the yellow or the red?
The yellow was something that came from what you guys changed that Carol had, the red said you guys hadn't fully decided on it yet. The blue is from me, either I added a question or, on page 33 here, you guys had asked me to pull in the solar ordinance wording. So I put that in parentheses, if you wanna pull any of that over, that's quick for you to find and add in there.
I'm still back on page 7.
Page 7.
On the building permit,
We didn't have a building permit definition, so I added that, that's why that's in
Okay.
there. Same with,
the other accessory structures on page 6, 103.3.
I think anything in yellow is stuff we worked.
I'm just reading the blue, which she added.
before, on 103.3, it just said meteorological towers, I added and other accessory structures, if you don't wanna keep that, you can get rid of it, but I thought that would be a good clarification. I did add a definition for wind energy converting systems on page 13. Okay, you can reword that however you want. Kind of combine a couple different online definitions. We can come back to the changes and stuff if you guys
I'm
move forward
just
from.
curious what the colors were. I mean, we had to go through it, I'll just.
let's try to start on page 33 at 507, the final plan submission. And let's start reading through that individually and see if we got some changes we want to make or what we want to make.
got all the cross-referencing fixed with the new formatting, but if you find anything that doesn't make sense, I can find the correct numbers and we can fix it.
So to C. Can we do that?
Traffic,
No, C, 602.2 Charlie, community fair established property values on adjoining or surrounding property. That's important.
Might be perfect. Quantify that.
I do think that's important.
yes, it is.
Will you ask me, lay out how they do that?
One of the, it does refer to, if they've done this after public hearings and stuff like that, so.
Diminish your fair established property value and adjoining or surrounding property.
Which page is it? 36?
35.
It's gonna be hard to determine.
Those are all important, I think, in there.
How would you determine that?
That's,
It's a
well,
hard
that's
part.
where they, kind of way it's worded. If they're completed as proposed, there is a strong probability the development will, you know, if it reads it up, how the board concludes. To approve the application plans unless it concludes based on information presented to the board and or information submitted at the public hearing. If it's completed as proposed, there is a strong probability the development will. So that, you know, that would push it back and then they'd have to go through. But it isn't just an automatic
Yeah.
done.
Approval.
It does have to meet this stuff.
Got a deal with the letters, fellows.
I'm following you. I get what you're saying both ways, you know, cause it's good to not hurt other people's values, but who's the judge of that? You know, that's the hard part. Did it come from someone else's ordinance? Is that where this came from? Whose was it in today?
Is worth
Okay.
based on.
Okay, I mean, they're all good things to look at, and that's where that comprehensive plan will kind of lay out what's the right thing to do, you know? But
A lot of times you don't know if it's affecting it until you go to try to sell it, or.
that's right,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
cause you might have a really nice property that still sells good, but you might have a mediocre that, oh, it's mediocre and there's a turbine next to it, like it might change it, you just don't know. Unless you go study another county that has turbines and sees, you know, ask realtors, that'd be about your only way to know.
I would think there'd be enough data nowadays to make experiences and.
Yeah. I mean, Worth County has like 400 plus turbines, so maybe call a realtor or two there and see what they say, I guess, does it affect, does it not usually, what's their thought, I guess, I don't know.
Probably something like maybe housing, some rural housing, something like that, it might affect something like that more than the agriculture land. Yeah,
Four turbines in Worth County.
Yeah, there's like over 400, I think, and they still are battling another one that's trying to either come in or repower, I can't remember, but, yeah, floodgates opened up.
I mean, my property's surrounded, but I can't say that it's gonna hurt the value of it because it's not impeding the land being able to be used, my house isn't, you know. I can't imagine that if I tried to sell the farm that we wouldn't get a top dollar for it because in the long run, they're not, those turbines are not physically hurting my property.
But you wouldn't know until you tried to sell it for sure.
Right.
You know, that's the
But
catch.
a house, if you were selling an acreage for a home where you can raise kids, the house maintains.
You know, again, everything is far enough from my, like, I would say a half a mile from, they've already had them spinning, I heard nothing. I don't know if that, you know, I don't know if they're all getting going from here, but I heard nothing when they were testing them out. I'm not getting any of the flicker, I'm not getting any of that, it's not running across, I mean, there's transfer lines across my property, but I don't farm it, my renter farms it. I mean, I can't see, unless it was really doing something detrimental to your property, to these people that have flicker and have that noise and things like that, I could see where that would be hard to sell your property then.
At least it'll be a good test by the time the comp plan gets done and this gets approved, we'll have a year, like, phase one is likely to turn on next month, so you'll have a lot of maybe cases where people are selling their house or they're, you know, are they hearing them, are they, anybody getting shut up, I mean, that would be a true test here, once this goes online. So maybe make a note to come back to it as we get closer or something, towards the end or something.
Yeah, I think there's another place where I just highlighted in gray where we're gonna come back later, so it was highlighted, but it wasn't like a, we need to fix this, where, I don't know, just, I mean, if you wanna throw a note in there that says review this.
Oh,
before
what,
the final
yeah.
copy and then
Okay.
highlight it.
But I think it's good.
If you highlight it yellow, I can highlight it gray later.
Okay.
Or check
I like
format
that,
and
it's just,
stuff.
make sure we can make it work.
And then we can just keep it gray highlight, like until the end, to come back to it later.
Alright, so gray means.
Gray means.
We're in the gray area.
We'll fix it later.
You know what, you probably should have a little key.
I should.
At the top that says, hey, if it's gray, we're coming back to it. We're gonna have this thing all rainbowed up and we're not gonna know what it means.
We've been pretty consistent. Yellow means that you changed something and I just need to check formatting. Blue is my notes. Red is holy crap, and gray is we'll come back to it later. Don't worry, none of the coloring is on the website.
One thing, looking at it, if you guys choose to, I know when we had that joint meeting, David was concerned if it just says, if the board concludes, if the board, which board is it, so you might wanna go put, I mean, I know it's kind of a pain in the butt to always say board of adjustment, but otherwise it's like, okay, well, is it board of supervisors, is it board of adjustment, is it?
We
So
also
maybe
haven't
we-
gone through this whole thing yet, so Worth County
Oh, so this is still
was
just
all the
words.
supervisors, it was all board
Oh.
supervisors, so
Got it.
we are fixing it as we go.
Yep, so this is their data that.
But yes,
we just
I
to
do
fix.
have that note in mind.
Perfect. Yep, I just know I'll say something later, so.
turbines shall not exceed 525 feet. They just allowed 600 footers to go in because Mr. Roberts was whining because he'd already purchased or had on order 600-foot towers for Salt Creek 2. And they caved because they wanted 525, and they allowed him to go on, so.
I don't think he's said that he's purchased any yet, has he? They just wanted
He
the
wanted the
option,
option, so he could
Yeah.
sell it to,
cause he's not
anybody he
purchasing
wanted
it, he
to.
wants to be able to sell it to a company. And they would, so it's possible that they would already have stock on hand, like Salt Creek One did, that's why they have such lower height than what they're planned. So it's not confirmed that that's how tall it'll be, that's just how tall they're allowing it before coming back to go get approved for anything higher.
Well,
Five minute break.
you ready for one? Sure. Anybody else wanna take a break?
I mean, if Wade says we need a break, let's take
Well,
5
yeah,
minutes.
Yeah, we can take a break.
Get out the car and grab an aspirin, you guys keep going if you
Come
want.
back at 7:30.
Sure. So I really think the formatting is the formatting, okay?
I think so. I mean, I haven't gone through all of it, obviously, just getting it, but is this pretty similar to the solar, or you follow what we're doing
It
and
is pretty
decide how
similar
to
to
do
solar,
it?
and I actually have a different, I have a different table of contents that I fixed after the copy that I put online. So I included all like this stuff, so
Okay.
like, here, like where it's 304 waivers, and then it's 4.1, 4.2 for waivers is here, is 304.
Okay.
So that'll tell you what the contents look like later. But I got rid of the formatting of the last one, had there's like drop downs and reformatting.
Yeah, yeah, it's nice to just be
Jody,
able to, okay, what am I
I
looking
brought
for
you
here?
eggs,
Okay,
don't
if I
leave
wanna
without
see
it.
that, you
I'm
know.
sorry?
I brought you
Exactly.
eggs, don't leave without it.
Oh, thank you.
They're in my car.
They're delicious.
It's just the section.
Your chickens do
Numbers
very
and
well.
sub numbers, so that'll expand it, everything else should be close to the same.
Oh, thanks for the cake pop.
Yeah,
That was my meal for
the-
today. I finally got back in the office today.
Why didn't we invent those? We could retire.
Yeah.
Really?
I hear you.
We're gonna do numbers, we don't.
Yeah. Right, well, this is similar to what we have in our other ordinances, right?
And that's what I based the solar off of also, so yeah.
Yep.
It might not be exact, but it is pretty close.
Yep.
I'll go through it and, yeah, come up with a warehouse. You said,
This is what we have with the two projects. That's already- That's right.
and that's if they do the full number that they originally had in there.
I think on this one, I think. Which county is Drum? I don't know.
We have already changed some things up, so that might not.
Yep. So you're just kind of matching together like work and.
Well,
those
based
together.
it off for it, and we're changing this. That we're looking at.
Mhm.
So if they are pulling it.
Couple aspirin.
Yep.
So I don't know what so yeah, so fourth.
Jody?
Yeah.
What school system does Carolyn work in?
But it's been, you know, it's strictly.
You don't know.
This, it had
So
to
you're
go
saying
there.
the board of adjustment did not approve when ordinance. Gotcha, yep, so it's gonna be off then.
Maybe they're not making it.
Yeah, it's depending on some issues on it.
She's in.
There she goes. Gilman? Yeah.
Okay, go on. She doesn't.
I guess they started doing half the year of this, so that it's less.
And why don't we have to print everything in Spanish?
So do they still have other zones
Gee.
in place with the supervisor?
I'm sorry, but
When the supervisor just like putting other, did they get rid of it
I
altogether?
think they did, that's just what they call it now.
So they don't have.
Weird.
that was my goal, to put it on the whole K through 12 preschool,
They all.
Christian based.
Because you get in what you want, and I just fix the formatting. That first one, so we were just kind of.
That's how GMG
It would be
has
like
200 kids.
one and
Because
B
they're
and
coming
C,
out.
and then all of a sudden five would show
And
up.
then all of a sudden
or-
we're in Roman numerals.
I know, it's like, wait, what, how did we pull that from?
And it's okay though, because that way everything that man didn't say to us online.
But it's a heck of a lot better than what we got today.
Which if we cut down the 1.5 spacing,
And they are,
Trying to use the school zones are too scary. That's what they are.
Yeah.
They won't stand up and give the teachers the authority to say, no,
we want it, and
if you
then
have
we
a
have to
problem
take
child,
the
send them to the
bottom
principal's
changes
office.
and
like
then
we
change
used to.
land use plan, so we have
Why do they?
most of it the way you want it, and then you have to change it, as opposed to, wait, what board is this, is this POA, is this
That's
POA?
how I get into shop, you guys, it's like otherwise you wait with all of this until you get done with all this, and then you gotta do that, and it just drags it out.
Well, and then like,
You've heard that? Very few people listen to the news.
And that's why they put them in off-year elections, because nobody votes.
Tammy told me that.
Start from scratch and everything else, well, this is.
Well, I have a friend who,
They all want brand new buildings on an empty fund. It's
Sure,
just
it's a meal.
go bankrupt and leave the house. Just so you know, isn't that?
well, that's
They're
what
supposed to be really good last time.
because
Oh,
they
this was good.
they took
But
it
they
out
fly
and
away
now
somebody,
with
yeah.
corporate
Last
taxes
time
are
it
supposed
was
to
like
go to fund
because it was like, my sister's not
the
big
$17 million thing.
and Britt paid for it.
Yeah, it was weird, and so, the last time they were really good was May of last year.
They weren't the
They weren't this good, they were different, it was embarrassing when they got, this time I could really see them, and I could video it.
Well, yeah, last time,
Last time
cameras
I
were.
was, yeah, so they couldn't video it off, didn't show it.
Yeah.
Thank you for your input and support. I appreciate it. Got your legs all stretched?
We're back on page
35,
five, roughly.
I think we're finishing at
We're gonna
35.
come back to that 602.2, aren't we?
Yep, it is highlighted, so we know to come back to it.
Just see if there's anything we can do to reinforce it, but that's an important one. Make sure it's good.
Do we need to change the wording on strong probability, or how do we, is that what we're after? Is that what you're looking at?
What's section one?
6022, is that the one we're looking at?
They're looking at C.
Well, we just need to find out if there's anything that needs to be,
Oh.
make sure it's enforceable, that it will be. This does, like when you have the public meetings and stuff, where that stuff just comes up, and that it can have
604.1.
When necessary to address exigencies, agencies, is that what it is?
Exigencies.
Is that a word?
Is the word.
I don't
I'm not a big one on vocabulary.
I've never used it in second grade, that doesn't mean it's not a real word.
I guess, I don't know either, it just looked different to me.
Requirements. Synonyms include demands, needs, emergencies, necessities, and pressures.
Can we just use requirements?
If you wanna change to
Keep it
requirements.
simple.
Yes.
Keep it
Okay.
simple.
Make sure
Well,
people know what
this
it
is, I think it's more than just requirements, I think it's like,
It's,
something happened and this doesn't work this way, and you gotta make a change. No, it's,
Oh, you're probably right, Wade, because it says encountered during construction, so it's probably more than requirements.
Okay, maybe we better leave it then.
it's
Make everybody
something
look it up.
unexpected.
You know, that's.
if they're drilling a hole and all of a sudden they hit a water pocket, but they gotta move them siding, I don't know, I mean, it's,
Dedicated
could
or
be something strange.
I'm like Heather, we'll keep it simple.
Yeah, what's another word for what it wants?
Words and-
Okay,
Wants to be.
definition per the internet, a pressing or urgent situation, an urgent requirement or a pressing need.
So situations would be the closest thing.
State of being urgent, pressing need or demand, urgency as in the exigency of the case or of the business. So, not just a requirement, but an urgent, needed requirement.
Yes.
So if we put in
So
a
red highlight
requirement instead of exigencies.
Well, it's not really a requirement,
Urgent
it's a
situation.
situation.
Urgent situation.
Yeah, so I'd leave it alone.
Yeah, I like,
Yeah.
that expresses what it is.
We can do word of the day calendar from the ordinance.
Just waiting for David to circle that, but maybe
Yes.
he'll know what
Yeah.
it is. I can pick on some stuff here.
No, I could spell check the whole document, I'm pretty sure that one. Obviously, red line spell. And this one is like a spell two ways type of thing.
Heather, I had a question. On the contract or whatever, that with the current construction and everything, does it state in there that they are to maintain the roads like these say? Or not?
Yeah, I mean, we got a road use agreement, so it says they have to follow the road use agreement in the actual ordinance, or like in that, what we signed, I guess, yeah. Yep, so two different things.
But in the road use agreement, doesn't it state they are to maintain the roads during construction and
Should.
afterward?
It should, they need to maintain
Why are
during
we
and then
not-
they need to
Why
bring
is
them.
the county not enforcing that?
I mean, if people complain about it, I let them know and then they.
I complain,
Mhm.
and I'm not the only one.
Yep.
Everybody up there in that area
For sure.
has been complaining,
Yep.
and county engineer does nothing.
Yeah.
It does, I've even the supervisor
Mhm.
for Blattner.
Right.
Well, we're busy. I said, yeah, I know, you're busy building towers, but our roads are,
For sure.
you have agreed to maintain them, and you're not.
Yeah.
There's no rock on them.
Yep.
They're mud holes. They're, and nothing's getting done.
Right.
I mean, we took their $2.5 million, but that's not part and parcel of road use.
Exactly.
So
I
who do
wish
you
I
go
had a
to?
good answer, yeah. Well, you go to
we
us
the
and we push on,
residents do?
we push on the engineer.
Go to the supervisor.
Just send me,
Is it Ben or is it you?
well, it's Ben, but he's our employee, so we push on him. So just, like Lisa and others, like, get a hold of me all the time, and this road, and this is what it needs, and I send it to Ben and the Blattner Energy guy.
They don't do anything. Trust me. I know, I'm on one of them,
If she gets on, they will.
yeah.
Yeah, just give me the specifics, I'm good at poking, but, I mean, the people that usually complain, they say it gets done, or at least it's better than it was before the complaint, but I don't know that it's perfect, cause they're a wind company, they're not road people, you know what I mean?
Karen,
That one.
Okay.
Okay.
We haven't got that far yet, but I just wanted to check out at times. Thank you.
To the conversation between Jody and Heather, isn't that sort of in the same category as what happened Monday morning with the gentleman that came to say that he was getting nowhere with his complaints to, Salt Creek, pertaining to trying to get out of the contract that supposedly he should be able to get out of? Isn't that in the same category of supposed to be able to but not getting follow-up?
I was just reading about the haul roads, when we get this, and I'm just going, nobody enforces what we've got now.
Exactly right.
What good is this gonna be?
Where's the enforcement, that's right.
So you guys can add teeth to your ordinance if you want to, like,
Penalties or fees or something?
penalties or fees, or we do have a complaint process as part of this later. So, I mean, you could add something in this part where it's like, refer to this other section for the complaint process if something, is not happening. But yeah,
But you complain and complain and complain, and it goes nowhere.
Have it done in writing, that's what it says.
so yeah, so we need
Oh,
to have it,
here we have to have it in writing.
Yeah. It just says you have to do it in writing.
and then
For
have
this one,
have consequences, so,
Yeah, and
the complaint process, if it's not mitigated, it has a fee or some other thing. So you can
Where
add
did
stuff
you
like
see-
that to the ordinance.
what's that?
Where do you see that?
704.1, damage reporting.
I'm just stuck on the haul roads.
Any damage to public or private, they have to have a written, they shall be reported immediately in writing to the owner of the damaged item and to the Tama County engineer. Failure to report such damage shall
But I don't
constitute
own
breach
the
of ordinance. What's that?
But I don't own the road.
No, I'm not saying, but they have to do this.
Oh,
They have to
So
report it
them
when they
failing to
damage the
report
road.
damage.
And if they don't do that, you can stop the whole project.
Is that the,
Where all work shall be required to halt until an investigation into the damage is completed and approved. I would go tell him, next time you're out there, if you see damage on the road, I'm gonna report you, and we'll shut the whole damn thing
That's
down.
not our current ordinance.
I know.
yeah.
With the new idea.
if it
Yeah,
was.
yeah, we wish it would. Yeah.
Well, the guys I talked to one of the dump truck drivers that are contracted with this or whatever, and hauling, taking these turns and stuff out. And he said they complain too, because their trucks are getting beat to crap, because they're on these roads, they're chuck holes and mud and, cause after I talked to the supervisor at Blattner, then I talked with a couple of these drivers. They said they're not getting any help either from Blattner, nothing. So I don't know where to go.
Go to the supervisors.
Mhm.
They get if they'll get sick of you complaining and get something done.
well, this,
I ain't for anybody, just let me know.
I don't count on
section 802. I don't see anything just glancing at this with like fines or anything, but there's a process of reviewing and, like 802.3, if they're found in violation of the ordinance, they'll immediately take immediate action to bring it into compliance. If they fail, so 802.3, if they fail to bring it into compliance within 30 days unless extended by the supervisors, the county may seek any relief at law or equity to abate the non-compliance, and may also issue municipal civil infraction citation. Each violation shall result in $750 fine per turbine subject to the complaint. Each day of the non-compliance is a separate offense. So we do have that section there. You wanna reference that section in other areas, or revise that?
This is kind of,
But none of the towers that are up now,
Would be held accountable to this, no.
Right.
By the time this gets approved, they'll have been way past the construction phase, so.
but according to the road use plan or whatever agreement, it says that they are to maintain the roads now, during construction, and afterwards.
Yes.
And they're not doing it now, so what chance are we gonna have to hold their feet to the fire and force them to maintain them when they're done?
That would be up to the supervisors and the engineer who initiated the road use plan.
Yeah, right. Not gonna happen. It hasn't happened yet, they're not doing it now during construction. It's like, we got bought off, and now people are just gonna have to suffer because we took their money, okay, whatever.
Well, that's why we're working to fix it for future projects.
But they've already got the agreement, and they don't enforce that, so what good is this gonna do?
Are you asking why put all the time in? Is that what you're asking?
Just not pretty words that nobody enforces.
You guys might wanna specify who is supposed to be issuing citations. If that's supervisors, or the zoning administrator, or the engineer's department, depending on what the issue is, you might wanna specify who's supposed to take that action on,
You referring to 802.3 or?
or any section of the issue resolution, to just be specific about whose responsibility it is. So that there's nobody going, well, it doesn't say it's supposed to be me, is it supposed to be me? And it's not supposed to be me.
Well, who do we think it should be?
But it's something you could also come back to later if you wanna think about it.
Like this, any,
Just make that.
Anywhere in 802 really, in the issue resolution. If you wanna break it down to be, violations of the road use plan, any citations need to be issued by the engineer. If it's violations of, if you just wanna have all the violations onto the supervisors,
that's what it says. Any CWECS found by Tama County Board of Supervisors to be in violation of this ordinance. So Tama County supervisors are the ones that are in control.
we do also need to remember everything past like the halfway point. We need to make sure we're specifying which board it is, because the base one we're basing off of is all supervisors. I'm okay with giving that responsibility to them.
Well, that's what it says. I mean, that's what, right now, that's what it says.
That's what work does, right? But I think we have a zoning administrator that's job is to enforce the ordinance, and then the engineers to enforce the roads.
Right.
So that's
But
what
we're
we
counting
have.
on
We
the
need
zoning
to
administrator, so.
Do we need to specify that?
I think that's what we have today, right? Like if a new, if today, if they weren't meeting the ordinances, we would do a citation for that. We kinda talked about that with some of this. A lot of this stuff, I guess. I mean, if it's not getting, if there's a larger issue, it can be escalated to your boss then, but. It's just a citation, like, hey, you're not meeting this ordinance, you need $750.
Is that $750 one time or per day?
This one says per day
Per
per turbine.
Okay.
I think that's what it said.
Well, it
Says
says,
state of non-compliance shall be a separate offense.
so this all goes, still the way it's written, it all reverts to
But that's after the 30 days is not.
Tama County Board, I mean, as far as the violations, Tama County Board of Supervisors. Do we need to make it so whoever has your position
Zoning administrator?
takes it, zoning administrator? Right now, it's you, but in the future, they need to write the violation and then take it to the board of supervisors to be acted on? Or how's that gonna work?
Never got it happened, but
This is, and you see with comment, which is the turbine comment, this isn't
Well,
referring to
CWECS is the
roads.
whole system.
Yeah, the whole thing is CWECS, yeah.
When conversions, they're the conversion system. And if the roads aren't, that would,
Well, that's what I'm wondering.
Well, when it talks about per turbine, if the turbine isn't associated with the road in question, if it's not there, then that's a road issue, it's not really a turbine issue.
I think 802 is more after it's in effect, because it's talking about complaints like shadow clicker, noise
Right.
complaints. So you might just wanna have something added to the road use section, the 704.
yeah.
Um,
We really, the road use is one thing, there's other things like runoff or other things that could be probably that type of thing like road use or other kinds of physical damages that were mentioned in here.
See, I guess
But there ought to
800
be something like the road use, that's something they could take care of right away. They didn't take it in 30 days for.
That's,
That's something that should be immediately addressed, or if there was something where they were getting a lot of runoff because, the big parking lots and things like that didn't have adequate stormwater retention.
So it says a specific authority is defined within the local ordinance itself for who would give the citations. Local zoning planning department. In most cases, local governments have primary authority over wind farm siting and enforcement of related zoning and land use regulations. The individual responsible for administering the ordinance, often the zoning administrator, would likely issue the initial notice of violation or citation. Some jurisdictions employ dedicated code enforcement officers who are responsible for investigating complaints and enforcing all local ordinances, including those related to wind and energy projects. County board, the county's governing body, such as the board of supervisors, generally has the final say on determining if a violation hasn't occurred and ordering corrective actions, such as an order for a turbine to be removed from operation until compliance is demonstrated. An attorney may get involved to initiate legal action if the violation is not addressed. So it's almost like this says you start, but then we would have the final say and when the county attorney, so. But it probably depends on what it is,
But you discussed something about taking the turbine out of operation, and this doesn't have anything to do with that, this and you ought to go out there and say, you guys are gonna stop work until you fix this.
Yeah.
You know?
There's a construction phase and then there's the later, if
Right.
something happens,
The construction phase, you're down until you get this fixed.
But who's gonna be the person to do that, make the stuff and fix it, repair it?
Well, that's
Where does the buck stop?
Depends if it's a road issue. If it's a road issue, the county engineer. If it's
Yeah.
anything else than that, like if they're building too close to a resident's house, let's say they're putting it 500 foot away and you have a 1,000-foot ordinance, then start with the road, but then we would investigate it and make a decision maybe or something.
So I think section 700, then you would wanna, I don't know if it'd be under 704 for damage, but 700 seems more like it'd be during the construction phase. So we wanna add a construction phase issue resolution section, where you guys specify, if they have to shut down parts of it are in there, but maybe consolidating it. But have that in section 700, maybe change the title of the section to avoidance and mitigation to public infrastructure. During construction, and that's also during updates though, because it talks about hauling in other parts.
Yeah, 705.1, maybe we need to reduce that weight a little bit then. To aid in adjudication of future damage claims, all equipment operating off-road which weighs in excess of 80,000 gross weight shall be equipped with GPS tracking. And they have to submit that tracking to us at the end of the year.
That's on 705.3. At the conclusion of the construction phase, a copy of all GPS tracking should be provided.
But I'm just saying at 705.1, that 80,000 gross weight, maybe we need to reduce that a little bit. That's pretty good
That's
size.
legal weight.
That's the legal.
That's legal weight.
That's the legal weight, but I mean,
That's grain truck,
yeah.
and they're always heavy.
As long as you make sure the haul routes are not like where the bridges are weighted differently, like if the bridges are bad or something.
Which that'd be part of the road
Should
district.
It's not much to put it takes nothing to put a GPS tracker.
Not anymore.
No.
Do you guys wanna start winding down, looking at dates ahead? It's about 5 days.
Yeah, it's 5 days, good idea. Do we,
We didn't add much to this, do you?
If you wanna save it for the next time.
I was gonna say, I can tell you where I had the grade, I think.
No, we can, we can change a lot this time, I'll do a revision. So we do have a meeting next Wednesday, the public notice is already out for that, I'll get the agenda out, Monday or Tuesday. After that though, this week is Thanksgiving, I just say for everybody, we probably don't wanna do the 17th, would the 3rd or the 10th work for anybody? One or both, or none?
December 3rd, is that a possibility with anyone?
Karen is available both dates, so either one would work for her.
December 3rd's fine.
And then only have one in December, and then we'll go again in January for it?
Yes.
I might be online if I have to have my hip replaced between now and then.
So 3rd of
I know.
December?
Yeah, well, I don't
You
know,
don't know
I
yet.
find out on Friday,
Well,
so
that's
I'll
what
know
the
by
internet's
next Wednesday. That's, oh, thank you. But I can be online and do it that way.
Okay,
Would you only wanna do the one date in December?
I would think so.
So December 3rd would be fine, yeah.
Yeah, I've got it done. So I'll know more by Friday, I know by next week. But like I said, I can be online, so.
Sure.
um,
If you get it done.
Wait, you need to go home?
I've had one done already, so.
I asked her before I came. She said December is good, except New Year's Eve and
Oh, we won't get the holiday, no.
Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve, of course not, we won't do that to you guys.
No.
Carol, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, so we'll go for December,
Third work or not?
Yeah,
Steve, you
I
good?
think it'll work. I got that 5 loaves deal on Thursday.
okay,
This year?
Wednesday.
just do the 3rd, and then I'll hit January after the holidays. Okay,
So let's say December 3rd then, huh?
yep, so next Wednesday, don't forget next Wednesday,
Right, we
but
could
then
do that.
also the 3rd.
Then the 3rd.
Hopefully by then we can maybe have Marty either swing by in person or online to give us a little more direction to move forward with our task force. I'd say we want at least a month out there with the survey, cause you'd have to
Yes.
get it in the paper for one
And
thing.
you got the
have it out
holidays
there.
in there too. We try to get it out there in December, you got people,
If we have it over the holidays, maybe we want 6 weeks, because the
Yeah.
holidays people might not be paying
There's
attention.
a lot we could go forward with.
Heather, do you think like 2 months?
We don't need to wait on the survey, and that's like the description, those 80 pages that are just describing what the county is and how we get those done.
Right.
But if Region 6 is able or willing to do that part,
Might take out, but I agree with Wade, I wouldn't fully wait on the survey just cause this is important to keep moving on, like,
The-
whatever we can.
How we
keep moving
organize
in the
and set it
meantime.
up and where we're gonna put things.
At least wrapping your head around like,
But
these are
if
the
we're-
elements, what does that mean, which elements go together, so you could set up future meetings,
But
like
they
these
wanted
will
to
be transportation and housing, this one will be.
they said they wanted to wait till after the survey to get the task force going.
It's hard to say, will you get many more people than what we already
I think
got for our list of people, like I said, you mainly just need a realtor and a contractor, I mean,
maybe
we
a
have,
banker.
we have like a pretty good list of people, but you can look through
I'll run it blind copy by you guys, see if you have any suggestions for wording or something I forgot to add.
The idea is to get the survey first and then put together a team.
Well, maybe not wait till we get the survey back. We could always add
You
somebody
could add
after.
people as you go, yeah.
Yeah, so if we get the initial people requested, the county people, the economic development people, that she has the whole list of,
Okay, say we get this survey out there, we have less than 10% response. How do you get a crew together to do all the work when the county people, residents themselves could care less? I mean, we're gonna be doing all this work for,
We'll have to wait and see.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I mean, how do you call a group together if you don't even know how many people?
I think the survey makes us aware of something that isn't the rule that we have to follow, because we talk to people. I mean, that's
Right.
our job, when we go out there, talk to your neighbors, I mean, that's what we're supposed to do.
Start the process.
Yeah.
that's why we wanna have so many
That
people
we're,
on the task
we're supposed
force.
to represent everybody in the county, and the survey will give us an indication, but that isn't, that doesn't lock it down to what we have to do what the survey says.
Right.
You also gotta take into account what we know about other, you know.
I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
You adjourn.
Second.
Everybody, that was
Then moved and
Carolyn's,
seconded,
yeah.
any discussion, if